Welcome. I'm Jim Steed from Zen-X.com. I will be talking to you about mindfulness and presence today. Sit back and enjoy the talk. In today's world, it's easy to feel like we're always running from one task to the next, from one thought to the next, never quite arriving in the moment that we are in. But what if the peace that we're chasing isn't somewhere out there, isn't somewhere tomorrow? What if it's right here, right now? Mindfulness and presence are not exotic skills, something that you have to seek out in the mountains somewhere with some special guru. They're natural human capacities, ones that we have forgotten how to use. And they're available to us right now. In this video, we'll explore what they are, how to practice them, and how they can quietly change your life. Mindfulness means paying attention, almost third person attention, paying attention on purpose, with some detachment, in the present moment, without judgment. It helps us become aware of our experience as it is unfolding without getting swept away by it. Presence is slightly different. It's not just attention. It's also embodiment, being rooted in the here and now, feeling grounded, noticing your breath, your heartbeat, and even your feet on the floor. Together, mindfulness and presence return us to the truth of now. And now is important. The past is not real. It's over. And the future has not begun yet. We only have now. So presence and mindfulness create the space where clarity and calm, clarity about where we are, and create the space where calmness, wisdom can grow. You don't need to meditate for hours and hours and hours. You don't even need to sit with your legs crossed in painful ways. And you don't need to stop thinking. You just simply sit, breathe, and notice. Notice when the mind wanders and gently return. That's the practice. How to practice mindfulness meditation. You just sit comfortably and center. Center if you're not reclining. It's kind of hard to center if you're reclining. Centering just means sitting straight without leaning against something, with your head kind of pushing like a jack of a car, pushing a car up, pushing the sky up a little bit, breathing in, relaxing and letting the muscles relax, drape off of your skeleton, moving a little bit left or right, and then letting the body come back naturally like a metronome, slowly coming back to the center. That's centering. And then focusing on your breath and your body's breathing. That is, if we're doing a breathing meditation. And as you do that, acknowledge any intrusive thoughts or feelings or emotions without judgment. Just say, I know. Say, I know, to your unconscious mind. And then gently return your attention without any drama, without any beating yourself up. Just gently return your attention to your breath. You can see there are different ways that you can sit. You can sit on the floor with your legs crossed, but not your ankles stretched over your calves. So it's not necessary. You can sit on a cushion. In both of those positions, sitting in both the cross leg or the middle position there, you can sit on cushions. So your legs kind of point down a little bit and stabilize you on the floor. Or you can just sit in a chair, as depicted in the picture. There are other forms of mindfulness meditation. You can mindfully listen to instrumental music, just like in a music appreciation class, listening to the tones, listening to the rhythm, listening to the harmony, listening to the back and forth of the instruments. Or slow, mindful eating. It's another kind of meditation where you take a morsel of food, put it in your mouth, notice the taste, the sweetness or lack of sweetness, the saltiness, the moisture, the texture, the crunch, the amount of saliva that your body produces, the motion of chewing and swallowing and following it down to where it enters your stomach and noticing how your stomach reacts to it. Does it welcome it? Or does it reject it? Or find it hard to accept? That's mindful eating. Or you can do a sensory awareness where you sit. First, notice your environment. It's best with your eyes closed, remembering what you saw in your environment, noticing what you feel and hear in your environment. Or there is the slow, mindful walking, which is practiced. I'll show you my book. I wrote a book called Mind Your Steps last year. Put it up on Amazon.com. It's getting lost there. I'm really not very good at marketing, or not interested in marketing very much. But there it is. I wrote the book because there's a lot of books on walking meditation, and they all really teach the same thing, except my book takes it just a little bit further. I had attended a 10-day retreat, a meditation retreat. It was an insight meditation retreat. And you couldn't talk to any of the participants for the entire time. And we would spend 1 hour in sitting meditation and 1 hour in walking meditation 3 times a day. It was quite trying. And I noticed as I was doing the walking meditation, I had a soap opera of drama. I mean, it was like All of My Children, The Edge of Night. Oh my gosh. Whatever it was so much of it popping up in my head as I'm walking. Now, I've always considered myself to be very enlightened, knowledgeable, not subject to all of this messy stuff going on. And I was really shocked at all this stuff come popping up. I had also been helping people for years using cognitive therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, incorporating that into my practice. But it never really seemed to work for me because I never noticed what my thoughts were. I didn't know what my internal dialogue was, And so how could I apply the cognitive behavioral challenges? How could I deal with my thoughts if I didn't even know what they were? They were going on at some unconscious level that I did not have conscious access to. Well, this walking meditation really brought that stuff to the surface. And I began to think, well, why does it do that? And I began to remember what Buddha said, that every movement begins with a thought. So, one step, one thought. Since I am paying conscious attention to it, I'm going from one conscious thought to the next conscious thought. So what are all of those thoughts between the two conscious thoughts? They must be unconscious thoughts. Well, eureka! Now I had something to work with. Now, in traditional walking meditation, you really just, when those intrusive thoughts come in, you just say, I know. Just like a worried mother is telling you, do this, do that, be careful this, be careful that, and you just say, I know, Mom. I know. All right? Just saying, I know, to those intrusive thoughts. But you could also label them. Okay? And labeling them, if you know cognitive behavioral therapy or cognitive therapy, you can challenge them professionally or like a professional, right? And what I did at that meditation retreat was, you're walking in a line, and I noticed that these thoughts were taking me away, and then I would walk backwards to the point my body said that they were beginning. I would either say, I know, if I didn't know what they were, or I would challenge them. For example, who says, according to whom, or I may just correct them. And then continue my walk down the path, paying attention to my feet. All right, that's what I did. Either way, it's quite interesting. I ended up having some of the most joyful times in my life by the time I finished one session of walking meditation. In my book, I did this because some people don't know much about cognitive therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy. I put 20 different kinds of dysfunctional thinking there. All right. And so, for example, here in your observation, you first label it. In this one, I call it magnifying, exaggerating, making a mountain out of molehills, whatever. All right. And then I give you an example of what that is. And then I explain what the effect of this is on your life. And then I give you a way to either challenge it or correct it. All right. There's about 20 of them in the book. You don't have to use them all because we use them habitually. We just figure out which ones we're using and only label those, challenge those, or change those for a while until you realize this is the same old playbook again and again and again going on with our lives, and you know what it is, and you just say, like you did at the beginning, I know, and go on. All right. So that's what I did in the book. It's an interesting approach. Now let's go on. How do you practice mindfulness and presence in daily life? That's that's $1 million question, because I was at that meditation retreat and these people could really meditate. I knew men and women who could sit there for hours going through excruciating pain. And they were so proud to be able to sit there and go through all of that. And then when you met them outside of the retreat, some of them were the crudest, the most rude people you ever met in your life, So there's got to be some way to take what you are practicing in meditation and apply it to your life. You should be able to change in your everyday life as well. Well, first of all, you need to know that every practice session is a lesson for your unconscious mind. So always end your meditation session with a mental rehearsal of where you would like mindfulness and presence to occur spontaneously in your life. Where you want it to occur, when you want it to occur, and with whom you want it to occur. The unconscious mind learns by you showing what you want it to do. So rehearsing that is an important end for every mindfulness practice. And in your everyday life, you can continue saying, I know, to those intrusive thoughts, even when you are folding or ironing your clothes. If people are still doing that these days, even when you're washing or drying the dishes or putting them away, even when you're washing your face, brushing your teeth, or applying makeup, even when you're mopping the floor or driving. We'll just call it mindful driving. Also, a very important one for your life and for everyone you know is practicing presence with friends and loved ones. To do that, make it an everyday practice, at least with one person. Stop what you're doing and face them. Put the both of you inside an invisible egg-shaped space. An invisible space for both of you. Give them your complete attention. No mobile phones, no doing something like picking lint off your clothes. Just breathe to get in touch with yourself, and maybe breathe with them at the same rate that they're doing, and listen to them. Listen to them without guessing what they're going to say next, without you guessing without you planning what you're going to say next, without interrupting them, and without trying to fix them. Repeat what they have said back to them and ask them if you've heard them correctly. Then tell them what you saw on their face. Maybe their their eyebrows frowned a little bit, or their their uh, their their eyes kind of popped out a little bit. Show them what you see in their face or what you heard in their voices. Did they sound tense or something? Okay. And then tell them you're glad they shared. I would like you to know that the greatest gift you can give another person is your presence and your attention. We all need to feel seen and heard. We live our lives with people talking at us, not to us. People need to feel seen and heard, and that is a very good gift that you can give people, your presence and your attention. Now, I have a special treat for you. I'm going to give you a 5-minute mindfulness meditation. And you're going to need to prepare for it. To prepare for it, you'll need to pause this video, find a room with table and chairs or a stool in which you will not be disturbed. Put your laptop on the table or stand your tablet or mobile phone up on the table. Put your earphones on or put your earbuds in if you have them. Sit up on the stool or the chair and center yourself, like I told you, with the spine straight, feet flat on the floor, hands palms up on your knees or thighs or lap. And then restart the video. Do that now and restart the video when you're ready. With your eyes closed, use your inner eyes to recall. You can look at the candle for a while. Notice how it flickers. And with your eyes closed, use your inner eyes to recall. With your eyes closed, use your inner eyes to recall the level of lighting in the place you're sitting. The colors you saw there before you closed your eyes, and the activities that were going on in the room before you closed your eyes. Accept them. That's your environment. Notice the sounds of any background music, machines or vehicles, or people in the area. Accept those sounds. That's your environment. Notice any smells, the temperature, the feeling of your body on the surface on which you sit, the touch of your clothes against your skin. Accept them. This is also your environment. Welcome to here. And now, sitting still, bring your attention to your breathing. Simply notice you are breathing. Do not attempt to change your breathing in any way. Breathe simply and normally. Notice the in-breath and the out-breath, the inhale and the exhale. Notice means to actually feel the breathing in your body with your body, not your imagination. Really feel into the act of breathing. Each time your attention wanders away, that means you start thinking about something else, just say to your unconscious, I know. And bring your attention back to your breath. Let's practice that for 30 seconds. Good. That's 30 seconds. Now notice how the air feels moving through your nostrils and your throat on both the in-breath and the out-breath. Continue to say, I know, to your intrusive thoughts and redirecting your attention to your breath. 40 seconds. Good. Now notice how the air feels as it fills and empties your belly and chest. How your belly and rib cage expand outwards with each in-breath and how they contract with each out-breath. And continue saying, I know, and bringing your attention back to your breathing. 40 seconds. Saying, I know, to any intrusive thoughts. Good. Now notice how your back expands and contracts with each breath, how it shifts a bit. And continuing to say, I know if you need to. 40 seconds. Good. Now allow your attention to cover your entire body all at once, also paying attention to how your body interacts with the space around it as you breathe in and out, and now your surroundings breathe you in and out. 40 seconds. Now, as you notice all of your body's sensations as it breathes, say the word presence and feel it. Really feel it. Honestly feel it. And put the word or your memory of the candle that you just saw behind the eyes of someone you care about. Let it flicker there behind their eyes and know that it will be there waiting for you to automatically cue you to re-experience presence with that person. Imagine talking with that person and then suddenly you're being present. How wonderful. Now you have placed it. You can open your eyes and return to the video for our conclusion. I hope you enjoyed that. So, why practice mindfulness and presence? Because they change how we meet the world. They reduce stress, improve focus, deepen our connection, and open space inside of us for peace. Not by removing life's challenges, but meeting them with clarity, breath by breath. At Zen-X, I invite you to explore our full library of guided practices, meditation practices, both mindfulness and also visualizations for manifestation. Let Zen-X be a doorway to something steady, gentle, and alive. Thank you for being here. You are already present. Let's begin. There is a lot of misunderstanding out there regarding meditation and people who meditate. That we are weak, snowflakey, and spacey. That's because people really don't understand what mindfulness is all about. On the contrary, we are clear, detached, and very powerful. With the proper utilization of mindfulness, we are much stronger than the average person. The average person is limited in that he is controlled by past trauma, false beliefs, and the propaganda fed to them by influencers who make money from controlling the minds of the weak-minded. The everyday people are people who hold desperately to traditional, outdated beliefs, who are rigid in their responses, so rigid that they are in fact brittle and easily broken by life, by daily catastrophes. And as you have seen and heard in my talk, we are well-practiced meditators. We well-practiced meditators are able to observe without reacting to thoughts and emotion and even physical sensations with compulsive, outdated survival tactics and addictive behavior. This gives us lots of options, and this makes us very powerful. We are the people that the capitalists cannot control with their false promises of pie in the sky. We are open and flexible in the face of change, emotionally resilient, and able to proceed down the paths we choose for ourselves without, I know, being too distracted by nonsense. Remember, you are the sky. Everything else is weather.